I sat down to watch the 2014 comedy New York Minute with one goal in mind: to end the underrepresentation of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies on this YouTube channel. But once this was over, I had another goal entirely, which was to run screaming into the desert night until my bones gave out. Which I did, but luckily that was only 6 feet from my front door. My knees get really bad in the winter. I was shocked to find out that New York Minute, which was the last film that the Olsen twins were featured in together, was not only hard to watch because of its painfully simple and unrealistic storyline, but also because everything outside of that seems like it was based off of a racist one-act play that the screenwriter saw in the 1990s. And at the time, this was actually the lowest grossing movie ever to be released in over 3,000 theaters. So at least it was a record-breaking flop. I suppose that gives this movie just a hint of purpose, so that it's not just a soulless parade of PepsiCo product placement, harmful stereotypes, and Hollywood's other classic favorite, teen girls doing things in tiny skirts. Get ready, because we are talking trash out of school in an It Takes Two installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other content here on the web. And we break it down like the academic record of a chronically absent student, to look at each individual clip and say, oh, that one's perfect attendance, and that one is tardy and late for school. It's a lot about school stuff in this one, I don't know. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns from the Ashley Olsen, Mary-Kate breath of work. Also, make sure you click that subscribe button to get new videos from me every week, and I have merch and a Patreon. I know that we've been in the middle of like a Christmas movie festivity moment for the last month, and this is not necessarily that, but that's why I included this chocolate snowman on the desk, which I'll probably eat right now. I need my energy. I need my energy. That's what I just said. So, as we often see with the Olsen twin films, we get this dynamic where the two characters could not be more polar opposite. The movie does everything it can to illustrate this in the first 10 minutes, to the point where I'm like so bored right off the bat. We open with a alarming dream sequence.
Are you sure you're not forgetting anything, Jane? Forgetting anything, Jane?
That's me panic shopping my way down the frozen dessert aisle before leaving the grocery store, because the lizard part of my brain is telling me this might be the last time I see a coconut cream pie for my entire life. Also, I'm obsessed with the 2004 height of Mary-Kate's hair in this dream sequence. They said, so this is just a 4-second shot of your head peeking out of the door, but we're gonna call you in for a full day so we can get in 4 to 5 hours of backcombing until your scalp disintegrates. She looks like if Snooki from the Jersey Shore saw a ghost in an episode of Scooby-Doo. This nightmare ends with the classic thing where Ashley's character, Kate, ends up in front of her school auditorium completely naked. Just the first of many times where we see these young girls, who were, I think 17 at the time, in some state of undress. We then get this kind of cool shot where we zoom out from her dream in New York City, and then we whoosh all the way over to Long Island where her house is. And then she's like, phew, it's just a dream. And she gets started on her very type A morning, while giving us lots of clues about what's up with these girls in the meantime.
Morning, Mom. Miss you.
Oh, Jane, I'm sure the whole community misses her, because judging from that portrait, she was a great real estate agent for Century 21. I know we're all gonna miss seeing her face smiling at us from those self-promotional flyers she left at the grocery store. We actually see several family photos of Mary-Kate and Ashley on this wall, along with the disproportionately large heads of the actors playing their parents photoshopped in. We continue to see that these girls are polar opposites. Kate loves to wake up and get ready for school organized, and then Roxy, her sister, played by Mary-Kate Olsen, does not. Oh, by the way, speaking of the actors who play the parents, this movie has so many cameos, and barely any of them make sense other than just being a person that was well known in 2004. See what I mean?
Simple plan shoot, 59th and 9th, New York City.
Making sure you're up.
Ew, why did Dr. Drew just enter this bedroom hands first like he's Sully from Monsters, Inc? They really had no desire to hire a real actor for this? Even just to get a guy who knew how to open the door naturally? Also, a professional would know not to block their light like that. Come on, Doc. Also, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that that line delivery was any more convincing than the idea that his celebrity rehab was actually helping people recover from addiction, using the power of TV camera crews and an instigatingly hot nurse. Also, that's right, this movie revolves around trying to make it to a Simple Plan video shoot. So you know I'm already on board. Simple Plan gives me life.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up an essay.
You know, 3 weeks into school and you haven't cut once. I like what I'm seeing. Maybe I won't have to send you to Sister Mary Margaret's after all.
Looks like this busy family on the go knows the best way to start their day is with a tasty bowl of exposition O's. This crunchy dialogue will spoon feed your family detail after detail in ways that people don't actually talk in real life, so that your young audience has all of the information they need to take in the rest of the film's product placement and overt sexualization without thinking too hard about the story or what's going on. Because frankly, our testing shows that a higher level of awareness actually correlates to lower purchase rates of our wonderful PepsiCo products. I'm also getting really stressed because nobody told me about the Simple Plan music video shoot today. I would have worn my checkered sweatband. There's no way they're gonna put me in the front row looking like a prep. We see that Roxy is quite a pro at skipping school because she's able to forge a absent note from her dad using her computer. Meanwhile, Kate is so type A that she uses a toilet seat cover in her own house. Like, just clean your toilet, whatever. Oh no, because she has to share her bathroom with her sister, I guess. That's rude. You think she's that dirty? Okay. We also know that Roxy is a drummer. She's drumming while Kate's trying to shower. I'm going to give Kate the benefit of the doubt and assume she only became a young Republican because the women from that party tend to have the cold, lifeless expressions and unmoving blonde hairstyles of her dead mom. You know, like from the open casket ceremony. I think the only reason they cast Dr. Drew Pinsky in this role is because the dad plays a doctor. He's like an OBGYN. At this point, 18 years later, Dr. Drew is not really like as famous as he was back then, so a lot of younger people watching this might just think that's a regular bad actor. Kate is like trying to cook him breakfast, but he's too busy to eat it, and he's like, I promise I'll be at your speech today, I promise. And Roxy's kind of ragging on her for, you know, being so obsessive over trying to help dad when you know he's never gonna come or whatever. The girls also are being spied on by a character played by Eugene Levy, who is the truancy officer who's after Roxy this whole movie. But Roxy doesn't care. She's trying to get to the Simple Plan concert, not just to be in the video, but because she's in a band that they're trying to break out using this opportunity. And yeah, there are more cameos.
So I burned you 30. Here's your all access pass. That'll get you into the shoot. Now, remember, we gotta hit up the A&R guys. We really gotta get this contract.
I'm happy that Jack Osbourne was able to break out of his family's reality show into mainstream movies. But did he insist on bringing the stretched out neckband of his t-shirts with him? How come even with the help of makeup artists, hairstylists, and costume designers, Jack Osbourne still has to look like the kid who didn't come prepared for gym class? As soon as Roxy gets out of there with the CDs, then Officer Powell, is it? Powell? Officer Lomax busts their little daytime pool party that the band is having. And then we get a feel for what Officer Lomax's, you know, cross to bear is throughout this whole movie.
You're a truancy officer. You're not Dirty Harry.
I'm on the heels of the #1 truant in Nassau County, and when I find her, and I will find her.
Sorry, Jack, sweetie, can you try to shuffle through this frame just a little more quietly? We can hear your boxy looking skate sneakers dragging through the dust. Also, maybe stop looking around checking the rooftops for snipers or whatever that is, because that's a little distracting too. Also, it seems from my reading like if any school systems do have a truancy officer, they're usually acting more as like a social worker trying to help make sure all students meet their graduation requirements. Not, as you see here, old-timey dog catchers who will take you out of your home in a police wagon. So clearly, Lomax thinks he's like a real cop, which there's nothing more dangerous than someone who's not a cop that thinks they are, except for maybe a cop who actually is a cop. They're not much better either. When Roxy and Kate get on the train to Manhattan from Long Island, they are instantly the most annoying people on earth. Kate's blowing up her big travel pillow as though this isn't a 20-minute ride, and just pretty much everything they do is the worst.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right, Roxy rioted. Oh my God. Oh, it's okay. I'm so sorry.
Do both of these girls share a nervous system disorder? Because right now they are exclusively screaming in people's faces and dousing them with liquids. Also, this already feels weirdly similar to Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen starring Lindsay Lohan, which came out the same year and also featured two teen girls taking an extremely messy train ride from Long Island to Manhattan. That's why I refuse to get on an Amtrak train without my stun gun. If some kid gets too rambunctious on my quiet car, I'm sorry, but it's zap zap. Time to jumpstart your puberty, bitch. Roxy tries to get away with riding this train without buying a ticket, but she gets caught by the conductor and is kicked off. And then the conductor thinks that Kate is also her, who somehow snuck back on and changed changed her clothes in 3 seconds. So both Kate and Roxy are kicked off of the train and left outside of the city without a cab and without a way of getting there. And now Roxy's gonna miss her big speech. No, Kate is gonna miss her big speech. So a little bit on that. Kate is trying to deliver this big speech to get her fellowship so that she can get into Oxford University in England. And after she gets kicked off the train, she runs into her little crush for the whole movie.
Go, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no, how could you have ripped her skirt right along that weird looking puckery breakaway seam? Don't worry, Kate, that hemline just went from mother of the bride to resentful stepdaughter of the bride, who tells everyone at the wedding how much she hates you. Roxy is out trying to get a cab at the train station while some mysterious man ditches a memory card into her purse, while Benny, who is played by Andy Richter, he's like a limo driver, is watching from afar. So it seems like the girls have just unwittingly been caught up in some nefarious scheme, because Benny immediately approaches her and is like, "Hi, let me give you a ride." He's using this weird, not real Asian accent, but totally convinces both of these teen girls just to get in his car, which to me is like, okay.
It's #1 adopted son.
I need that chip.
Benny will be there soon, Ma.
Either you talk in Chinese or you speak in English. Enough with the accent.
Sorry, Ma.
No, I'm sorry, because it feels like we are checking off every box on the list of uncomfortable Asian stereotypes that every screenwriter seems to have hung on their fridge back then. It's like 9/11 happened and Hollywood said, "Good news, everybody, racism is cool again." To which the government responded, "When was it ever not?" We have to open with this classic Oriental riff, which is the da-da-da-da-da-da, which is very stereotypical in itself, as we pan across a room full of Asian nail technicians who are really serving as a front for the ruthless matriarch's secret gang activities. I bet you they wanted her to be holding a Siamese cat for this scene, but even the cat was like, "I'm not gonna sell out my people like that." Not that I'm blaming Alana Ong or any non-white performer for taking the roles that Hollywood had for them at the time, but how is it that the only way screenwriters were willing to show New York City in movies is by saying, "Welcome to America's melting pot, kids. Please be sure to stay with your own kind, and will all non-Caucasians please empty their pockets and put their hands where I can see them. Thank you." So now that we know Benny, his whole goal is to get that chip out of Kate or Roxy's purse, the names, the real adventure starts to kick off.
Ancient Chinese proverb.
Uh-oh.
Never accept ride from stranger.
Is it just me, or did the Olsen twins star in a lot of movies where they were casually abducted? I can't help but wonder if that's something that young audiences naturally have a desire to see, or if Hollywood was just really tuned into what sexual predators were buying on DVD. Anyway, the girls manage to escape through the sunroof while Benny has his divider up, and so they get chased into a subway scene where we have this sort of Matrix-style kung fu battle on the subway platform. It's very referential, nothing really super special. It takes up a lot of time. The movie doesn't have a lot going on, so they pad out a lot of time with running and car chases and doing bullshit. Kate's main goal is now getting to where her speech needs to be delivered in like the upper hundreds of Manhattan, Upper West Side, I want to say, and that's when things start going wrong, because obviously she needs to be presentable for that appointment.
Either of you young ladies spare some change?
Oh yeah. You're only feeding this poor man's disease.
No.
Snack, you know, like a granola bar. You wanna...
Oops, did your abstinence-only views on helping drug users backfire, Little Miss Fox News reporter? I have no sympathy for Kate getting splashed with liquid here because 1, her and her sister were just the beverage banshees of an entire commuter train, and 2, she was trying to pry money out of someone's hand who was just going to use it to survive, whether he spent it on alcohol, drugs, food, or other essentials that all humans, even those living without houses, need to live. It never makes sense to me when people are like, "Oh, I can't give homeless people money because they'll spend it on drugs, I give them food." And it's like, listen, if a person is truly addicted to drugs to the point, especially to the point where they no longer have a home, they're probably gonna find the drugs some way or another because they need it to live. If they don't take it, like in many addictions, they will probably die of withdrawal. Or even if not, they need the drugs to function so that they can find their next meal or find a safe place to sleep. So by not giving them money, you're not stopping them from being addicted to drugs, because they will continue to find drugs or money for drugs if you don't give them it. You know, you could give them food, I guess, but it's all about out one way or another. You either want to help them live or not. The girls duck into a like kind of bodega where there's, I guess, a payoff for Kate, who hates dirty toilets because she puts a toilet seat cover on and then falls in the toilet. So there's things like that. I'm like, why do we have to spend so much time setting up the toilet seat cover thing in the beginning just for her to fall in a toilet 15 minutes later? Like, to me, that's not really a satisfying payoff. I guess in a kid's movie it is, but not this one. Particularly, it's hard to appreciate even simple gags like that when there's so many racial caricatures going on all around them.
Don't suppose I could start a tab?
Tab is for valued customers only.
Thank you, don't come again.
That's a wrap on our deli clerk, actor Suresh John, everybody. Perhaps you recognize him from some of his other credited screen roles from around that time, which include Pakistani cab driver, someone called Anish the Thief, and of course, suicide bomber. Oh boy, looks like I'll be having white guilt for dinner. As we just found out in the store, Kate left her day planner in that limo, which not only contains her money and her credit cards for some reason, but also all of the note cards for her speech that she's trying to give. So now we have another conflict layered on top of the original conflict. We don't just have to get to the speech for Kate to give it, we also have to get back the notepad from the guy who just tried to kidnap them. So in order to try to get cleaned up, both Kate and Roxy head into a fancy hotel saying that they're with the band, because apparently that's where Simple Plan is staying. Well, Benny is getting in trouble for messing up this plot.
What's so important about this stupid chip anyway?
That stupid chip contains millions of dollars in pirated music. They transfer from chip onto compact disc, and we make millions.
Wow, this movie knows about pirated music? Very hip. Or, as the kids are saying, very Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I don't know any kids. But if they're so up to date, then why does every character keep referring to what is clearly an SD memory card as a microchip? Oh, I just realized. It's because about 20 minutes of this movie's final cut is jokes of people confusing microchip with potato chip. It was at this point in the movie, at 29 minutes and 7 seconds in, that I realized my mouth was full of blood because I had slowly bitten the tip of my tongue off. Actually, that might have been a nightmare. Either way, this movie gave me nightmares. Once they're in the hotel, the girls break into a room that they see being exited by Andrea Martin, and so they just casually break and enter into someone's private hotel room so that they can take a shower and get Roxy cleaned up. No, Kate, god damn it. But there's some funny stuff we see in there, like there's a dog using the toilet. Oh, Roxy gets on the phone with the guy who stole Kate's bag because I guess the cell phone was there, and he explains that he wants the chip, so she's like, oh, here it is, and puts it on this tray of chocolates. That's right where another love interest of this movie named Trey comes in. He's played by Jared Padalecki of Supernatural fame.
Is today my birthday?
You should be asking what their birthdays are because they both look 17 and you look like you already have a favorite craft beer. It feels uncomfortable to me watching the Olsen twins, who the world watched grow up since they were babies, acting out this stereotypical straight male fantasy that fetishizes twins. How is that the scene that gets put into the movie, but then Kate never actually gets to give her academic speech? Please, that's hardly a spoiler, okay? The speech is a MacGuffin. The real academic accomplishment is the twin sister she got to be in a bathrobe with along the way. So the girls are busted by the son of Andrea Martin's character.
Hey, sister.
Look, there's gonna be a 5-alarm fire if my mom finds you.
She's not cool with total strangers breaking into your hotel room and taking a shower like you are. And not to bring down the party with realism, because I have never and would never do such a thing, but I would have dropped all of this adventurousness as soon as I escaped from that kidnapper who impersonated a limo driver, because that's a major crime that they were victims of. And then, like, one of the reporting police officers can drive Kate to school. I mean, God knows they get a brand new cruiser every 5 months. I don't know why Roxy decided to put that all-important microchip onto a piece of chocolate, but the dog eats it right as Trey admits that his mom is a senator and she's on her way up and she's gonna be pissed. So now they're trying to like violently shake the memory card out of this dog, which I don't see how that's gonna work. The dog gets roughhoused quite a bit in this movie.
This isn't happening.
Ow, he bit me!
Ronaldo, calm down. I don't want it.
Don't throw him! Ow!
You take him.
Yeah, I don't work in market research or anything, but I'm not sure how much kids love to see the dog die in movies. I know that as we see, Ronaldo here magically lands on the ledge below, but I would say that that's actually a bad thing because the dog goes on to suffer even worse torture throughout the rest of the movie. These girls drop and fling a stuffed lookalike of that dog around so many times, I started to wonder if the characters of Roxy and Kate were actually born without any affection for animals because they are not kind to him. I feel like they chose like an ugly looking dog so that it's not as sympathetic and the dog is always biting and nipping, but I'm like, well, you're breaking its neck, it's gonna bite. This part is just like too much. The girls both climb out on the window ledge and I'm like, get off of there. And Jared is like running downstairs to meet them. He's like, oh, I brought the dog to the groomers. And the girls like take a painter's thing down. If I had just seen two girls climb out of my like penthouse, a hotel window, and then they didn't come back in, I would assume they were dead. Like there was a Stephen King book about that where the guy made his guy that he was holding hostage walk around the ledge of a building to survive. And that was the whole short story. And I was like, this is the scariest thing I've ever read. So this gives me that, vertigo. But they do eventually get down in a hilarious way. Of course, wearing basically nothing. Was there no one on set whose job it was to make sure that the camera was never angled directly up these teenage girls' bathrobes and towel wraps? Okay, just checking, just thought I would ask. I don't blame Mary-Kate and Ashley for essentially stopping all film work after this movie, because honestly, I don't think movies like this deserve to have been made ever. It's so lacking in plot and abundant in exploitation that it's essentially smut junior. Especially what we know now about the strong hold that child predators had on Hollywood as an industry throughout the history of it. It's hard not to see that while these movies obviously were created theatrically to sell to children, and obviously the Olsen twins were well known for their demographic, there are also plenty of adults who purchase children's entertainment for less than wholesome purposes. And I believe that Hollywood producers knew that and were pandering with lots of feet and weird imagery of children that makes me feel uncomfortable to watch now. And this is not some crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. We know that there are people who victimize children who have been ousted from Hollywood, and they were open secrets. They were being kept secret by people who knew. So it stands to reason that that still exists today, and there's still more work to do there. So the girls are running through New York City. Ashley's character, Kate, actually runs into Jim, the bike messenger who ripped her skirt earlier, and she gets to give him his number. So he's like in the mix now for official. Next, the girls run through Midtown Manhattan, damp, without clothes or undergarments, allowing for a cameo from Bob Saget, because they were both in Full House together, don't forget. Also, they trade a watch for some tourist clothes, some skimpy tourist clothes, and then they make it to the Simple Plan shoot. I think this movie could have been just as good and or bad while they were all wearing pants, just saying. So Trey, the boy from the hotel, finds out where the Simple Plan shoot is and meets the girls there, but so does Benny, who's using the day planner to keep track of these girls. Meanwhile, it's time to see some Simple Plan. Rockin' on! My favorite Simple Plan songs were I'm Just a Kid and Welcome to My Life. I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. I'm so that voice type. I'm a tenor pop punk Canadian singer. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, nope, not so much anymore. Let's dive in and see Pierre Bouvier. I never know how to say his name, but he's the lead singer in this one.
I know a girl with a guy. It's for our call again.
Okay, this is not a Simple Plan song that I've ever heard because it sounds like it's mostly terrible. And I mean, I definitely never bought a copy of the New York Minute soundtrack on CD or pirated microchip, as the case may be. Oh, don't forget that Officer Howitt? What is his name? Lomax. Why do I keep calling him something completely different? The truancy officer, Lomax, corners Roxy, but she manages to escape just in time. He's been following them this whole time too. So I mean, to its credit, the screenplay does pull off this sort of rat race type of thing where it's like, oh, the characters are running and along the way, they gather other people who are gonna continue to pursue them, just like upping the stakes. I mean, it does that effectively, but at the same time, it's also not the most complicated story writing technique. There's lots of movies that basically have set up this plot. Like, it's a mad, 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 mad world, and that reboot, Rat Race, which ended in a concert for Smash Mouth, like, it's all very familiar. And this crowd scene is chaos. I feel so bad for the Olsen twins. I would have hated shooting this if I were them. Roxy! Oof. Ashley Olsen just got really face smashed into that stage by a grown man just now. Did the director tell these extras that it was their motivation to kill her? World War Z up in here. The two twins get right up on the stage, and then their only escape is through the crowd. So of course, we get to do this cool thing. Kate said, whoops, let me get rid of this dog real quick so I can hold my skirt down while these grown men lift me over their heads. Woo, strangers cupping my buttocks. They are really f***ing Kate up at this concert, aren't they? Simple plan, do something. The plan is getting complicated out here. There are adults touching Mary-Kate and Ashley's legs. So as they're running from Lomax, the girls escape the video shoot, and we see that Trey asks this limo driver if he's seen them, and he's like, oh, let me take you to them. So we know that's not good. This movie is reminding me how difficult just daily chores are in Manhattan, especially fighting the crowds to grocery shop. And I don't even like that now. Thankfully, I've taken it off my to-do list with the sponsor of today's video, Every Plate. The holidays are here, so let's all give ourselves a break and save a little money by enjoying delicious and affordable meals delivered right to our door that are ready to go in just 6 simple steps. Like I've said on my channel before, I use Every Plate to help plan, shop, and deliver everything that I need to cook an amazing meal for one low price. The recipes all come together in about 30 minutes, which is absolutely faster than a trip to the grocery store and then preparing it from scratch. I've tried meal kit delivery services that work out to be like $25 a meal. And now that seems outrageous to me because with Every Plate, each serving costs about the same as a cup of coffee. Every Plate has proven that you can get the same delicious food for a much better value. It's like I have home-cooked meals on autopilot. Just look at this creamy white bean and broccoli soup that I just made. Completely plant-based, and it was so delicious and satisfying on these cold desert nights. Try Every Plate for just $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering code DiRamio179. I'm full now, so let's hit the streets again with the twins. The girls accidentally jump into a water main through an open manhole and then walk underground up to the 123rd Street area that they need to be at. But when they come up, they find out, oh, they're on the east side, so that would be Harlem. And they, for the 18th time, duck into some random place to clean up during this movie. Like, we've literally seen them go into 4 locations and be like, let's clean up in there. It's like, have you guys ever, like, just go to school and figure it out there? Go to somewhere where people aren't going to be attacking you every minute. Go home even. Call the police. Do something. Like, at this point, they have so many other options than what they're doing. So this next location that the girls duck into is called the House of Bling. I was really hoping that the political incorrectness would have ended with the Asian representation or East Asian representation, but that was, looking back on it, a pretty stupid wish. This movie is basically trying to take us on a tour of New York City and all of the harmful racial archetypes that exist therein. So the girls duck into the House of Bling, a hair salon, as we said, in East Harlem. I love hollow chocolate things because you can yell into them and make a chocolate scented sound.
Can I help you?
We are so not in Kansas anymore.
That's right. We have to watch this scene now, I guess. It's crazy. Like, did nobody on this movie think about how this type of content might be othering hundreds of thousands of Mary-Kate and Ashley's fans who were black? Because they just looked at this black hair salon as though it's a f***ing alien planet. Don't you girls go to school in Manhattan? God damn it. That's a sign of the wealth divide. These girls have a rich OBGYN father. They just drive into Manhattan and go right to their special little magnet school and never venture outside of anything that might open their horizons. So of course, these helpful hairstylists with no motivation to make any money of their own are happy to give these girls free makeovers because nobody can leave House of Bling looking anything but bling-alicious, and basically what they're saying. But how can we make sure white audiences will feel comforted by these black characters? Oh right, by having them give deep, wise advice.
It's the curveballs that make life interesting. Sometimes, if we're real lucky, there's a blessing waiting for us at the end of that wrong turn.
Here's an interesting fact. In earlier versions of this script, the wise motherly hairdresser was actually more like a wise motherly, let's say, housekeeper. And instead of New York, the movie took place on a pre-Civil War era, let's say, farm. For anyone who isn't aware of the US racist historical stereotype of a mammy, this is one of the contemporary ways that its roots are still pervasive in media today. It all works to contribute to the really limited and harmful awful perception that white people have towards women of color. And some of us would probably love to believe that we've progressed past this point in the early thousands, but we haven't. It's just a fact. Because black performers are still often told to act sassy in their roles today. And that stems from those of us who have white privilege, who are in charge of making most of the movies that we see, still have expectations that we don't even realize that we're placing on people of color based on our racist history. That's not okay. Kate even says at one point, just to be clear, I'd like a more corporate bling, which is basically her admitting that she doesn't think any of the people in this hair salon are hireable. But again, she's a young Republican, which I believe is actually Latin for unwittingly racist. Here's a quick little montage of things that probably wouldn't be put in a movie today. Actual footage of Rachel Dolezal getting ready for prom. We need to get out of this scene. I feel like I'm in way over my head. Also, did you know that Rachel Dolezal is on Cameo? What is that? Who's booking that? I wonder if people ask Rachel Dolezal to act sassy in her cameos. So Roxy and Kate both leave the House of Bling with cool new clothes and attitudes on loan from black culture. And when they see that Lomax is on them, the hairdresser, who again is just here to help the white characters, loans them her son's cab to make off with. Like, cabs are very expensive. To get a cab token, or to become a cabbie basically in New York City, it takes like a $10,000 investment. So I don't think anyone would let their cab just be taken off by some girl. And Roxy doesn't even have her license. Also, I love how in this movie, it is as though these two sisters had lived in separate countries from each other up until this point. Kate's like, you don't have your driver's license? It's like, wouldn't you have both gotten your licenses at the same time? Wouldn't you both have some idea of what's going on in each other's lives, even if you weren't super involved with them? Lomax commandeers some tourist's RV, and so another chase ensues. But not before that same businessman who Kate and Roxy kind of spilled all her stuff all over, accidentally gets into the back of their cab and has to come along for the ride. The businessman is played by Daryl Hannah, who you might recognize from Mad TV and Saturday Night Live. I'm tired of the car chases, to be honest. Like, I accept that they're well done. Like, frankly, all of this movie had a big budget, so it's made pretty well, which kind of makes their $5 million opening weekend even more embarrassing. And honestly, I can only watch so many car chases. I doubt Mary-Kate and Ashley's audience came to watch car chases. I mean, I don't know what we were watching these movies for. I guess it was the sisterly adventure, but I don't know, I'm bored. That's why I'm not showing you any of this stupid car chase. It ends with them parking in Times Square after they lose Lomax. This is where we get our third act conflict fight. Basically, after they park, Kate is like, you know what? I'm just gonna go meet Benny outside the plaza, like we said, so that I can get that microchip. It's in public. You just stay here. And Roxy's like, no, I'll come with you. And she's like, you've done enough. And that's when they get into a big fight about how Roxy is saying ever since mom left, Kate is trying to replace her. And Kate is like, well, ever since mom died, you have stopped taking responsibility for anything, so it's my job, and blah, blah, blah. So there's clearly a lot of unresolved stuff, and they get to the root of why they haven't really liked each other since their mom died. She's like, mom used to love how different we are, and you punish me for it. So the girls part ways, and as Kate's leaving, she sees Benny, and she goes to get the microchip, but he instantly kidnaps her for the millionth time she's kidnapped. Roxy comes across Benny's van, which Trey has been locked in the trunk of. Again, lots of casual kidnapping here. Once she's at the limo, Roxy's like, oh my gosh, this has the notebook in it. This has Kate's cards. I've ruined this whole day for her. We have to go meet her where she's giving her speech so I can deliver this notebook to her. Because they don't know that she's been kidnapped and brought to this back of this nail salon where Benny has the dog and is trying to get the microchip, and Kate has been locked in some back room where she finds out more about their scheme.
This movie isn't out yet.
Wait, they have Holiday in the Sun too? So this movie exists in the universe where the Olsen twins continued acting after this, and where Jennifer Fox would continue accepting supporting roles? Oh yeah, I know all about the iconic Olsen twin movie, Holiday in the Sun. In fact, you can see an archived version of my virtual watch party of that movie over on my Patreon, where I also do live watch parties every month and bonus content. Kate also finds the CD for the Simple Plan song that she was just at the music video shoot for, and I thought this was some clever writing to help even a young audience understand that, oh, this is the CD for the song she was just at a music video for, and the guy on stage there was like, this is an unpublicized thing, so we appreciate you keeping this a secret. Meanwhile, Ma Bang, who is the matriarch of this crime family, is getting real fed up with this dog.
We do it my way. Cats have 9 lives. I wonder if little doggy does.
I'm starting to wonder, was this movie created by Republicans to promote xenophobia? Because suddenly I'm feeling real suspicious of that George W. Bush merch they were promoting at the beginning of this thing. They're just pulling out all of the harmful Asian stereotypes that I haven't even heard since Donald Trump got kicked off of Twitter. Kate manages to escape from harm's way and take the dog by, making a big distraction in the back room and then kicking her way out. And as soon as she exits the Chinese place, she runs into, guess who? Jim, the bike messenger. How is it that he's been all the same places she's happened to be since Long Island, through Midtown, now to Harlem? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. But luckily, he's there and can give her a ride to the speech and she can make her academic thing. I wish I knew what this event was called. Fellowship Award, let's call it.
Take a shortcut. Hey, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Maybe try a side street, Jim, cause it looks like this maneuver is bruising Kate's pelvic bone like a Bartlett pear. I don't know how he just hopped up on that car with his bike. He must secretly have E.T. in his front basket. We are coming to the culmination of all of the events. Trey sits down at the Fellowship Award and he sees his mom and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm giving the award for this. So it's like, of course you are, the senator. And that's right as he and Roxy had gotten there, and then the person was like, wait, are you Kate? So Roxy, of course, has to go on for Kate and stall while Kate is still on her way to the award ceremony. And that leads to some hilarity. She's vamping, trying to give this speech by reciting Avril Lavigne lyrics, which I would give that an A+. But then at the last minute, Kate bursts in with the dog and she starts calling out all of the injustices she's experienced on her way here, even though that's not exactly what the award ceremony was about. Like, I don't see why this is a good replacement for giving the speech, but what she decides to do, I would have just got up on stage and been like, so sorry for the mix-up, but I'm here now. Let me nail this speech and get my award. She'll still probably lose, but like, at least she maintains some dignity. But no, she goes all out.
See this guy over here?
Huh?
That man who thinks he's Chinese. You're not.
Not that being Chinese would somehow make him better at conducting criminal activities, even though, yes, that is what the movie has implied. So the senator is all excited because not only did these girls catch a pirated music copyright sting, but they also returned her beloved Ronaldo dog back to her. So she's like, oh, these girls are heroes. But then Officer Lomax steps up on stage and is like, this is the biggest truant in all of Long Island. But Kate knows how to just step in and save her sister at the last minute.
Officer Lomax tracked down the Bang family and wouldn't rest until justice was served.
Sure, Kate, let's go ahead and award this petty, neurotic, and reckless authority figure with a spot on the police force. He'll fit right in. I'm sure a gun will suddenly make him super cool-headed and responsible with his power. Can't you just take the scholarship you're somehow still going to win and shut up? But, Kate takes to the stage and she's like, I thought today was all about giving this speech, but it's about something more than that, and what I learned with the few wrong turns along the way. It's like, okay, boo. So Kate doesn't even care that she didn't get the fellowship to Oxford, because she got to spend a few hours with her sister, while spending more hours walking through dirty water, getting splashed with strange liquids, running around naked, and getting kidnapped and put in boxes and such. I would be so traumatized by the end of this day, I'd be like, I'm gonna take a gap year. But she doesn't need to, because here comes Mr. Businessman at the end. Oh, right. Of course, after all of the shenanigans that they put Daryl Hannah's character through, of course he ends up being one of the people who's judging the main speech, which I didn't actually see that coming. I thought he was just gonna be like a bit part, but I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. It all ties together. The mechanics of the screenplay work, but none of the extra stuff like the characters work. It's just not exciting.
I found these. This would have been an amazing speech. You deserve this fellowship, Jane.
Even more than those other students who, met the requirements, because frankly, some of their names were hard to pronounce. I really thought this could have been the ending of the movie, but nope, we have to go to that summer for this little 10-minute prologue. Epilogue. Epilogue comes after.
Have you given any thought to visiting me in London?
I'm actually transferring schools there next year.
Really?
That's right, I'm going to Oxford University for their esteemed bike messenger program. So you better saddle up for another bumpy ride every weekend. Get yourself an athletic cup, sis. Officer Lomax busts in with his brand new super cop outfit, and he's busting their chops, being like, is there a car parked out in the loading zone? Just kidding. I wanted your autograph before you went away. And then it's teen party dance time happiness with all of the kids loving their lives. Aw, I was kind of hoping this scene would end in some sort of natural disaster. No, I'm not counting Jack Osborne's dance moves. Oi, and that's all we have for New York Minute, and it did take quite a couple New York minutes to get through. It's been a New York Minute since I've seen a movie that was so insensitive and so full of racial caricatures, and I'm sort of shocked to find that the Olsen twins were associated with something like this. Then again, I'm also not that shocked. I guess 18 years really does change the way we handle certain subjects a little bit, but there's also still a lot more work that needs to be done. Because as you see with some of these things like the mammy stereotype, the longer we get away from the original iteration of it, the more subtle and insidious it seems to become, because we layer on these politically correct job titles for the character, or we change their physical features a little bit, but the way that they impact our perception of that group of people remains the same. Please let me know what other Mary-Kate and Ashley movies we should cover in the comments below, maybe that do better than this in some ways. I kind of like Holiday in the Sun, because at least then they were like, we just won't cast any people of color. That's where we're at. Let me know what you think. Also give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more Mary-Kate and Ashley clip breakdowns like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first one to know when we are skipping school to attend a Simple Plan concert. I met a girl who's in love with the guy who sticks his penis inside of a pie. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for being truant with me today. I will see you next time.